Hello, everybody. Welcome in our webinar. Recording already. A bunch of people is still joining, so I'm going to wait 1 more minute to see who else is going to join, and then we are going to begin.
Konuşabiliyor muyuz acaba? Can I speak? Hi.
Hello, hello. I'm actually not sure who is speaking right now. There is way too many people. During the webinar, we will mostly have the speaker off. At the end, there will be space for sharing. But anyway, if you have some sort of questions for the beginning, feel free to bring it.
Okay, thank you.
It's 2 minutes after 6 o'clock. We will begin. Hello, everybody. My name is Vojta. I will be host of today's webinar. There was almost 300 applicants. I don't believe that all of them will join, but still a huge number of people. Reason I have my assistant, whom I'm going to you very soon. She will be managing the technical processes during the webinar. Because there is so many people, I would like to invite you to keep your microphones off for majority of the webinar. There will be some interactive elements during the webinar. We will be using Google Drive. We will be using Mentimeter, so you will have a chance to express yourself. And in the end, I would like to give a bit of a space for sharing and also space for the feedback. So it will be your chance to talk if you will feel like you want to share something. Biggest part of the webinar will be self-reflection journey. The workshop I am bringing is providing an opportunity for introspection. For that reason, I also told you that you need to have some paper or notebook ready, that you need some pens because you will be writing for yourself, and also some colorful pencils or markers or crayons because you will be drawing a bit. My name is Wojciech Żak. I am a facilitator, I'm project coordinator, I'm a designer. I run Inspire organization. It's organizational education from Czech Republic. Mostly we are busy with the topic of well-being and also with the topic of educational LARP. I'm doing this job for last 7 years. There is my colleague with me. You can see her as admin, but her name is actually Eliška Uhlířová. I will let her to speak for herself for a bit.
Hello, my name is Eliška, and I'm here to support the communication. And in case you will have any questions, please don't hesitate to write them to our chat. I will be simultaneously answering them if I can, or I will be delivering the messages back to Vojta so he can answer them properly and for everyone. So feel free to use the chat, and I hope you will enjoy this.
This webinar is being recorded. I already know about some people who cannot attend, but who wanted to see the webinar. So the recording is going to be sent to everybody who signed for this webinar tomorrow with some extra materials. And after that, I will delete all the emails. Only the ones who wants to stay in touch, I will give you a chance in the feedback to leave me your email so I know that you want to be contacted about more information. Also, let me tell you a bit about the context of this whole thing. It's like 1 month ago when me and Ella joined Erasmus project in Guadalupe. There were 2 amazing trainers from Poland, Bea and Ania. And they are basically the ones who were leading us on the self-discovery well-being journey. They presented this workshop on embracing your inner critic. I enjoyed the workshop tremendously, and I decided to replicate it in this online sphere. As was said before, you can possibly do this for yourself. You can very easily implement it as an offline workshop with anybody you are working with. You can do it with your friends, and hopefully you can also do it online if you will be eager to. I would also like to apologize to everybody who was here too early, because when we were promoting the thing, I forgot to mention that it's happening of Central European time, and it caused some confusion, so sorry for that. We will slowly go into the thing. For everybody who's joining last minute, please keep your microphone off. You can communicate through the chat. You can have your camera on, you can have it off, depends what's more comfortable for you. I will be mostly looking into the presentation, so I will not see you anyway, and I'm fully counting on Ella, my technical support, to tell me if there is something I need to address. This will be self-discovery journey. For that purpose, we would like to start with a bit of a grounding. Grounding is about feeling the present moment. Grounding is about reconnecting with anything you are feeling. And it will take around 4 or 5 minutes. It will be very simple. For that reason, I would like to invite you now to sit comfortably as much as you can. It's also okay to lie down if you can still hear me. Start with finding good connection with the ground. Feel your feet on the ground, or if you are lying down, then feel all the points of the contact with the ground. And take 3 deep breaths in your own tempo. Breathe in, breathe out. Second deep breath. Out. And the third one. And if you are comfortable with it, I would like to invite you to close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, just choose a spot in the room and focus on this spot. And bring your attention to your feet right now. How does your feet feel? What are the points of contact with the ground? Are you in the shoes or are you barefooted? Can you feel the movement of the air in the room? You can imagine this little ball of a golden color or green color. You choose the color that fits you the best. And you are having one ball in every feet right now. And this ball is slowly rolling up your leg. It goes through your heel, through your leg. Slowly, slowly, it's reaching your knees. And then higher, higher through your thighs, to your crotch. And these 2 balls are going to connect to one bigger ball in your pelvis. Pay attention to any feelings that are there at the moment. And keep breathing. Don't forget to breathe. You can feel how the ball is getting bigger as it's filling your whole chest. And how is it raising higher and higher to your shoulders? It is going to split to two separate balls in your shoulders again. And feel how those balls are rolling down through your arms, to the elbow, lower to your forearm, then to your wrist, palm, and then it's turning into 10 little balls that are going through your fingers. And from the tips of your finger, they will emanate in the 10 rays of light. They are going to connect to one ball again, and the ball is going to enter your throat. How does the ball feel in your throat? And from there, it's going higher to your head until it's going to fill all your skull and starts to shine around you as your little personal sun. And you can slowly let this image of a ball go. And once again, take a 3 deep breaths. Breathe in. Let it out. Take another deep breath in. Let it out. And take the last deepest breath in. Let it out. And you can slowly open your eyes. So I hope that this supported you to get a bit more present at this very moment. I see that we still have people who are joining in. I already gave you a bit of an introduction and we did the grounding. So next thing will be that we will talk a bit about this concept of inner critic. Then we will do the individual work. Then there will be space for sharing, and then we will go into the feedback part. So what's supposed to load now is the Mentimeter, and I'm going to ask Ella to share with you you already did. Okay, Ella shared with you link to Mentimeter, and there are basically space to put up to 3 words. What is inner critic according to you? So please take 2 minutes to fill this Mentimeter for a moment. What is an inner critic?
You can find you can you can find the link in the chat in case you didn't.
Ooh. Bingo. It seems that Canva is not so fast, so everything is coming very slowly. But there is a bunch of words popping in: development, step back, suffocating, intuition, reflection, feedback, stress, judge, perfectionist, criticizing yourself, judging yourself. Echoes from childhood. Yes, we will be working with this a lot. Introspection, self-judgment, love yourself. Very nice. Okay, so inner critic is some sort of voice in our head. Sometimes more conscious, sometimes less conscious, but it's a ever-present concept which basically all of us are carrying inside of us. Something that keeps criticizing us, telling us that we should do something something differently. This voice has its purpose, but what the purpose is, we are going to tackle in the second half of this workshop. What I would like to do now is to give you an opportunity to discover a bit what is the face of your inner critic. I'm trying to move the Canva and doesn't want to move. Give me a moment so I solve the technical problems. So I will give you some time to ponder a question. At what time is the inner critic speaking to you the most? To you personally, your own personal inner critic. Maybe you can be thinking about some areas from your life, and I'm going to give you example from my personal life. Like my inner critic is very often speaking to me in my professional life. I am professional facilitator, but I cannot stop myself from comparing myself with my colleagues. And very often I feel that I'm not good enough, that I'm a bad facilitator. My inner critic also speaks to me in the terms of romantic relationship, when I'm feeling that I may be a bad boyfriend, bad partner to my beloved ones. And my inner critic also speaks to me in more general concepts, when I'm basically thinking about my moral code, about things that I'm experiencing in life. And then my inner critic is telling me that I am a bad person. So think a moment about whatever problems you are experiencing in life, about anything that is bringing you stress, and try to come up with those categories. Professional, personal, anything else that is coming to you. You can also make it very specific because it's your own experience. I'm going to give you 3 minutes for it right now, and you can begin. One more thing to mention, sorry, you are doing it for yourself. So take your notes on the paper. You can do it in your own language. You will not share anything what you will not want to share. So you can put there anything. Yeah, inside of this workshop, it can be helpful for you to work with something from your real life, something what might be bothering you at the moment. But in the same time, what we are usually recommending inside of those workshops is not to go for the most painful things. So if we would have a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is very okay and 10 is, this is killing me in my life, it's really bothering me, we would say go for something on the number 4. Something what's not super comfortable, but in the same time, it's not really putting you completely off. It's good for 2 reasons. One of the reasons is that you are having something real from your life what allows you to connect with the topic more. But in the same time, it's not so painful that it could do some damage. If we would be working one-on-one, we could go into the deep topics, but because this is online session, which with almost 70 people right now, we cannot really provide you this support. So once again, the invitation is choose something from your life that's real, but don't go into anything that is super painful. I hope that you identify the categories in which your inner critic is speaking to you the most often. In my case, it is this professional aspect, it is this romantic aspect, and this is also some general morality aspect. Choose one of those categories with which you will be working now. So once again, to give you a personal example, I will be working with the concept of my professional life, me as a facilitator. So you will have very soon few minutes to write down specific sentences your inner critic is telling you concerning those things. So what I hear from my inner critic when thinking about my professional life, my inner critic is telling me that you are not as good as Yassar or Afonso. Those are names of other trainers I know. Or my inner critic can tell me, you don't know what you are doing. Or you don't know how to connect with people. You are too easily overwhelmed. You are boring. You are too weak. So take 5 minutes to write down everything that comes to your head from the things your inner critic is telling you concerning the topic of your choosing. 5 minutes. And if it helps you to play some meditative music or creative music on the background, go for it. It can support you. We are not doing it from the technical reason. I have just received a question in the chat. If the sentences can start with I instead of you, I would really invite you to start the messages with the you sentence. So you draw a difference in between inner critic and between yourself. Even though those concepts are connected, it's better to see inner critic as a separate being. We will get deeper into it after this. There is also a question if it has to be only negative things. I mean, if your inner critic is telling you positive things, that's good. Go for it. Write down anything that is coming, good or bad. We see some raised hands in the chat. I'm not sure if it means that somebody wants to draw something or if you are just indicating that we can move on. So I will assume that it means that we can slowly move on. And yeah, Eliška is already sharing with you the next step. There is this link on Google Doc, and I would like to invite you to share there in English some of the sentences your inner critic is telling to you. Just basically that you don't see that you are not alone, because most probably some things you are experiencing is an experience of someone else as well. So please take a few minutes to put in the sentence of any sentence you choose, and it's anonymous. There is no need to put there who is writing what. Also in the Google Drive, we will just see anonymous squirrel or lazy elephant, so we don't know who is writing what. There is a lot of things popping in. You are pathetic, you are cold, you will die alone. You are just dreaming like a child. Thank you. Take one more minute to put there anything you want to put there. This link will remain active also for the recording. So when we will be sharing this online, people will have a chance to open it. So also people in the future can somehow benefit from what you are writing here right now. So thank you for doing it. I will leave up to you as you are going through it to what you are relating, because I'm pretty sure that many of you can relate to some things that are popping in. For me personally, I can say that when I read "you are pathetic, you are cold," oh hell yeah, I relate. These are things that can pop out in my head very easily. But we will slowly move on. We will go to the next part. And the next part is going to be drawing. You are going to have about 5 minutes, maybe 10. And your assignment will be to draw how your inner critic looks like and give it a name. So you can really separate this as individual entity. You can see some examples. These are things that I took from the internet. All of them are somehow showing some sort of specific person, but it doesn't have to be a person. I'm going to show you drawing of my inner critic. I don't know how well you can see it, but it looks pretty much like this, very abstract. And its name is Maleficare. I hear I'm terrible at expressing by drawing. Well, I would say the same about me, to be honest. I would just invite you put on the background any song that is pleasant for you and just scribble anything that is coming. It can be very specific, it can be very abstract. I also like to say that writing is form of drawing as well. So if it's better for you, then just write down through writing how your inner critic looks like. So yeah, let's give you 5 minutes and then we will see if you will need a bit more time. Okay, I see that a lot of you is already finished. That's great. I also saw this message in the chat. My inner critic says, you cannot draw me, you don't know how. Well, in a moment you draw anything, you already draw your inner critic. And in case that it's not ideal or something, that's just your inner critic trying to confuse you. Well, okay. Let's actually continue with this topic a bit. And let's go to the next slide. If you're gonna click on this link, and I believe Ella is also sharing it with you in the chat, there is another question, and that is, what is the purpose of the inner critic? So if you have some ideas about what's the purpose of inner critic, please put it there. Let's have 2 minutes for it. So somebody wants me to repeat, if you're gonna click on this link, it's also in the chat. There is a question. Somebody is rewriting the question. The question is, what is the purpose of inner critic? So you can put there your ideas on what is the purpose of inner critic. What I mean by purpose, okay. So the thing in our head, this inner voice, it exists from some reason. I will spoil a bit. It has it can bring us something good. Basically everything what humanity is experiencing exists for some purpose. Stress has also its purpose. It's a survival mechanism. It allowed us to survive in the nature. But as we keep experiencing it in the modern time, we are experiencing it so often, so abundantly, that it's undermining our health. So similarly, inner critic has its benefits. It exists for a reason, but if we are not working with it mindfully, it's undermining our mental health. So what do we have here? Make me feel down, stop me, improving myself, a voice I cannot avoid hearing, to become the best version of myself, making me aware of maybe some realistic problems I have, helping create healthier boundaries, overthinking about your decisions, a lot of things, make me feel boring and judge my many acts, to navigate us in the right direction, okay, to protect you sometimes. I think that I will go with this last sentence. There is a lot of judgment about the inner critic, which is fully understandable. I do understand why you feel like this, but I will connect with what I was saying about that inner critic has its purpose, and it's very connected to the topic of protection. So let's talk a bit about how this inner critic voice is getting created. And not surprisingly, it starts in our childhood. But of course, it continues through our life on as well. So basically, when we are kids and we don't understand things fully yet, something can happen. Anything that hurts us. Our parents scream at us louder than they should. Or our sibling does something to us. And we as kids who don't understand things yet are crying for help, crying for attention, but we might not get it. We might get quite the opposite. We might get punished. And as a kid, we receive this not fully formed information. If I'm doing this, I'm bad. And if I'm bad, I can be expelled. And if I'm expelled, I will die because I cannot take care of myself. I need my mother, I need my father, I need my family, I need my siblings, I need these other people around me who are bigger and older to take care of me. And if I want them to take care of me, I need to behave in a certain way. And only if I behave in this certain way, I will keep belonging. I will keep being taken care of. And this is a very natural process with its drawbacks, of course. So I will slowly take us to the next slide. And it's connected to the topic of NVC, nonviolent communication. I was asking in the forum if you are familiar with this. Most of you at least heard about it. Some of you are probably experienced it. And there is very few of you who doesn't really, who never heard about it before. I will not go deep into this problematic. It's a lovely theory, nonviolent communication from Robert Marshall. I really recommend to check it, but we will be working here only with some small pieces of this. So to summarize what I was saying, your inner critic is protecting your needs of a human. But the strategies your inner critic is using might be quite unpleasant. The strategy the inner critic is using can be anything what you wrote there before. Like my inner critic is, in order to protect me, is using the strategy of telling me that I'm not good enough or that I'm not funny enough and so on. So if we are going to go on the next slide, you will see there the list of needs based on the NVC theory. And Ella already shared with you in the chat a link. So from this link, you can get this list of needs and download it for yourself. And it's connected to your next assignment. Go back to those sentences you wrote, the sentences your inner critic is telling to you. Like in my case, you don't know how to connect with people, you don't know what you are doing, yada. You wrote your own stuff. And compare it with the list of needs we just shared with you. And try to pair them. Try to see what survival needs is your inner critic protecting by telling you those things. So it can, the same sentence, one sentence can be connected to multiple needs, or maybe you don't know exactly which one it is. It is okay. We are in the experiential part. So you just do your best to find connection. As an example, you can see it on the screen. When my critic is telling me you don't know how to connect with people, it's somehow addressing my need for belonging, but also my need for authenticity. Take 5 minutes to pair the sentences with the needs, and if you have any questions, bring them on. There are 2 questions in the chat. One of them, is there a possibility of adding subtitles? I'm afraid we don't have a chance to add the subtitles right now, but we will provide recording. So hopefully if you are going to rewatch the recording, you will see it better or hear it better. And we are also doing transcript if it's going to help. I'm sorry that I cannot solve the subtitle problem right now. And there is another question, if those are just some needs or are the ones from the theory of the ment you mentioned. Yes, those are all the needs based on the NVC theory. This is just one of the theories, so I'm not saying that this is the only, the true one. But the general community, worldwide community, is working with this list of needs. It's supposed to be complete list. I have just been informed by somebody from the chat and then by my technical person that we actually can add subtitles. So sorry for confusing you. We added subtitles now. We will be slowly moving on. I hope that you somehow successfully managed to pair the sentences and the needs. This is the hard part. This is the bit tricky part, bit rational part. So I understand it can be challenging. If you are still confused from it, I would invite you, when this webinar is over, come back to it. Read through the list of the needs, read again through the sentences your inner critic is telling to you, and see if you can somehow pair it. You can also discuss it with your friends. Sometimes it helps to bring some sort of perspective when you are discussing it with someone. In any case, we will go on. I was talking before about seeing this inner critic as a separate being. It's a bit misleading. Like, this inner critic is you, or it's part of you. It's something inside of your head. But this something, somebody, which supposed to have name, I hope that you already gave it a name, it's a mechanism. In a sense, you can see it as some sort of robot. It exists here for the purpose, but you can see it as a separate entity. And you can actually see it as your friend. That's what will be the next assignment about. You will be writing a letter to your inner critic. So take a look at this picture you draw and on the name you gave to it. Think about the sentences this being is telling to you, and then take 5 minutes to answer to those sentences through the letter. And I would invite you, start with gratitude. Remember, inner critic, whatever inner critic is doing, it is doing it to protect you, but probably they are not doing it in the most effective way. So when I was writing a letter to my inner critic, I started with the words, "Dire maleficare, I see you are trying to protect me, to show me or give me what I need or what I crave. The thing is, what I truly need is some love, care, acceptance, respect, kindness. And I would love if you could give it to me." And the letter went on. So take 5 minutes now to write letter to your inner critic. Okay. Okay. So if you finished the letter to your critic, and once again, I remind you that the letter is supposed to be like when you are writing, and it's supposed to be written with some sort of gratefulness for what you experienced. So anyway, I would invite you to take some marker, check your letter, and see if there is the most important part from the whole letter, something you would like to highlight. You can see on the screen the sentence that I highlighted for myself when I was doing this assignment. There will be a small build-up on it, but I'm going to give you 30 seconds to find your sentence. This core sentence from the letter can carry the most important message for yourself, something you can take easily for the future life. At least that's what I did. After I highlighted for myself this sentence, I reshaped it a bit and I gave it this shape. And basically I said to my inner critic, can you be kind and gentle to me so I can be kind and gentle to the others? This is something I'm dealing with this is something I'm dealing with in life a lot, that I can be very cynical and very mean person. And in the same time, I have a feeling that the world is mean to me, and to be fair, I am a mean to myself. So this was a very crucial reminder for me about this like big needs behind, that I need to bring more kindness, more gentleness to my life. And I need to begin with being kind to myself. And I ask my inner critic to be kind to me. Because if I'm able to do this, maybe I will also be able to be more kind with other people out there. So maybe, hopefully, you have a bit different perspective on your inner critic at this point. Not only as somebody who is trying to bring you down, but as somebody who is here to support you, however weird it can sound. So with this perspective of your inner critic, like somebody who is not only your enemy, but who can also be your friend, I would like to invite you to take a look again at your picture and think if there are maybe some adjustments you would like to do to this picture. And if so, take 2 minutes to actually do this assignment. Okay. We are going faster than I expected. That's good, I believe. I prefer shorter things over longer. I said at the beginning that there is a lot of us, so this will be mostly closed mic event. But this is actually the moment when I will give you a chance to turn on your microphone and have an opportunity for sharing. If there is anything you would like to share, or if there is anything you would like to ask, this can be your moment. Maybe if there is somebody who would like to show us the inner critic they draw. Once again, this is Maleficare. It's seems to be very black, but as a matter of fact, I actually quite like it. There is Hatis Kubraos, who is raising her hand. Maybe she would like to share.
Yes. Hello.
No.
Yeah, I would want to share, even though it's it feels quite personal. Maybe, I mean, it's hard to share with everyone, you know. So this is my drawing that I don't know. She looks like me. She literally has same hair. But when I drew it in the beginning, she was looking more angry and terrifying. But after the letter I wrote, she's also sad, and now I add some tears, and she's also sad. And so it was. I can say it was quite fast. Whole the webinar. It went quite fast, but in the end, what I have in my pocket is when you asked me to highlight the points in the letter. The points that I highlighted is like I said, you're telling me that everyone will criticize me, but actually the only criticizing voice would hurt me is yours. And if you and me would be in peace, then any other criticizing wouldn't hurt me, actually. Because when someone is blaming you or underestimating you as being a girl, for example, and in your head you also have problem with being a girl, then you're taking it as a problem. But if I'm okay with being a girl, being a woman, or whatever, any gender, then criticism is not touching you, actually. So for me, the best part was this highlighting part. I can say that it helped me to realize maybe what I need or what she needs. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. I find it as a very brave thing. I remember when I was doing this workshop as a participant, there was the end and we were coming to sharing. I didn't want to share. I didn't feel like sharing. But there was one guy who actually stepped in and he started to talk about his experience. And in the end, he had tears in his eyes and it was so beautiful to watch him. And he actually inspired another person to start to share. And as I listened these two, I had this huge urge inside of me to actually speak up as well. And I didn't do it because of anyone else but me, because I needed to hear myself out loud. And after I did, it helped me so much. So I know it can be difficult, but I'm very grateful to everybody who decides to give a bit of themselves out there. Is there anyone else who would like to show us their inner critic before we will move on? Lila is raising her hand.
Yes. Can you hear me? I think Habiba was first though.
Ah, I see Habiba now as well. So I will leave it up to you. Who of you would like to go first?
Habiba, you can go if you want.
I don't mind. Okay. Thank you, Lila. So regarding my inner critic, um, she looks like that, or it looks like that. Okay. So it's kind of a girl, like, and on this side, she's giving me support and good words and positive things, and on this side sometimes it's negative. So that is why I believe like my inner critic sometimes push me forward and give me like a great huge boost of good words, and sometimes it's like it wants to protect me. So that is why it gives me sometimes negative things, and this is like the two parts of my inner critic, and I'm the one who wrote that sometimes it protects me. So yes, it's sometimes doing this to protect me. So yeah, that is what I think about it, like two sides.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Lila. Then there is also Elif, and then we will slowly move on.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be short. But yeah, thank you so much for this workshop first. It was super emotional to see that we're not the only one thinking this about ourselves. And yeah, also what Artische, I don't know how to pronounce her name, sorry, was saying about like adding some details about the drawing a bit later. I actually did the same, like added some tears because I felt like I also need to empathize with my inner critic, which is called like bastardo, which is called like, yeah, in Italian, but anyway. And yeah, what I wrote in my letter, like this sentence was like more asking for help, kind of like, yeah, help me doing compromises and start thinking that I deserve what I have, because I usually, yeah, I have a lot this imposter feeling, and I feel that my inner critic is a lot telling me that I don't deserve what I have and what I'm doing, etc. So like, yeah, maybe transforming those critics into like motivation and like, yeah. But that was really, really inspiring. Thank you so much, and so well constructed. Then I shut up. Thank you.
Thank you, Lila. Let's go also to Elif.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay, I want to show my inner critic. There's lots of pictures actually. I draw lots of different figures, but end of the day, I think that this is my inner critic. She looks like me, and she's so normal. She's a quite normal person. But I realized that when I wrote the letter, she has a huge ego. But she used this for protect me and make myself better. She always support me, but sometimes it depends. But most of the time she use its power to make me stressed. That with that stress, I get away from the situation that I don't want, or the things that make me better, make me worse, and she shows me the way to things that make me better. That's
Perfect.
it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks to all of you who decided to share. I will slowly be I will slowly be taking us to the next part. There is still Zoe who raised her hand. Okay, Zoe.
I raised last, but I think Lila inspired me to share my thing. I also feel quite sometimes that I don't deserve the things that I have or I should have, or I have this also imposter thing syndrome probably. But what was very interesting was that it started from all the work that I did. My monster, I will call it, but her name is Irinia, which in Greek means guilt. It's quite painful. It's quite mean. I can assure you that. But what was very interesting was the fact that it started from the first activity that we did, started with expectations. And then my last thing that was like, okay, you can accept that you are not doing it as well. So this was very interesting to go on that direction, because if my inner critic would like to tell me something, could be something also not to push me down, but also to ground me. And at the same time, I would like to say thank you to the admin, because I wrote to Ella, because I read in the messages a very caring message while we were doing the last activity, what for me was the most important for the level up of the emotions. And you as an organization took your time, but as person mostly, to say to us that, okay, remind us that we need to take care of ourselves. So thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. Okay. So there were some sentences about that the webinar was a bit too fast. It was, I agree. We are actually 20 minutes faster than I expected. Still, I find a benefit in this. There will be the recording. So if you feel that you need more time for this, you will have a chance to do it in your own time and take all the time you need for it. But I would also like to, oh, there is also Gilson who would like to share. Okay, Gilson. I think you need to turn on your microphone.
I am sorry. Hi.
Hello.
Firstly, thank you very much. Your web seminar. I feel better because recently I am so lonely because I live far from my country, another country I work, and so much loneliness and my around unhelpful people, unfriendly people. But this seminar is, I feel better. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you for the sharing. Okay, back to the closing of the thing. So you will have a chance to work with this later on. We are also going to provide you some extra materials. What I would like to mention here, what I heard a lot in the webinar is that Inner-critic is helping us to get better. This webinar is very much built around the world of the, and I forgot her name, but you will hear the name later on. She wrote a book, Kindness, and she's overly busy with the topic of kindness. And she's basically saying, in our society, we are taught to build our self-confidence. But with self-confidence, this self-critic is coming very often. And it's telling us, pushing us to go further and further and further. What she's saying is that self-kindness, self-acceptance, yeah, it was Christina Neff, thank you, Ella. So Christina Neff is saying that self-kindness, self-compassion has exactly the same benefits as self-confidence. It is doing for us exactly the same thing without its negative effect. But in any case, it requires a certain work from your side, because this inner critic, this inner voice, it's very automatized reaction. It's something that's very deep in the subconscious. So what you did, at least partially during this workshop, is that you brought into consciousness what is happening to you, and you made a conscious choice that next time when something like this is happening, you can remind yourself this core sentence. In my case, it is, Vojta, I need you to be kinder to yourself. So next time when you will be criticizing, pushing, when you will be bringing yourself down, please remind yourself this core thing, which might help you to be kinder or better or nicer to yourself. And I would also like to highlight this part, which I said in when we were talking about writing a letter to your inner critic. Very often people are, let's say, angry with those parts of themselves who are bringing them down. But as I said before, inner critic exists for a purpose, as much as a stress exists for a purpose. Neither inner critic, neither stress, neither anything else is your enemy. This is coming a lot from the systemic theory. Whatever what you are experiencing, if you are able to welcome it with gratefulness, it will accept you to, it will help you to accept it, to work with it, to get over it. This much to be said, I will go to the quick summary of the workshop. So basically, when we are working with our inner critics, there are those 5 steps. First step is noticing when the inner critic is speaking the most, in what situations. Second step is realizing that you are not this voice. This voice is some part of you. In my case, it's the maleficare. Imagine this inner voice in details. Remember this picture that you draw for yourself. Understand that the inner critic is trying to protect you, and you can name the needs behind it. What is the inner critic protecting you from? What needs is it protecting? And finally, express what you want to tell them with a gratitude, but also assertiveness. This all I'm going to share with you through the email, so you don't have to write it down quickly. I would also, for the end, I would like to share with you a few more things from stuff that we are doing. So this webinar is organized by Inspire. Both me and Ella are part of Inspire, a Czech organization which is doing non-formal education. Here you can see HopeCheckInspire.eu. This is a mobile application, mobile app, which is focused on well-being activities. And it is designed in a way that you can do a little assignment, literally 2 minute, 1 minute, 2 minute assignment every day, which is focused on self-care. There is all different bunch of things, from accepting your body, from learning how to get more friends, how to be more outgoing, from learning how to meditate, how to exercise regularly. So hopefully it can help you to find something that you like. If you are searching for more activities you can be doing with your youth, we published this booklet. It's called Wellbeing and Stuff. And it has, for example, some activities which are helping with the stress management. It has some activities connected to personal accountability. It has some activities connected to the work with the inner child. Then, if you are more into the reading books, as I am actually, I would like to offer you Welcome to Hopeland. It's a free to download book. It's interactive book. Basically, it's telling a story of somebody who was very unhappy and who visited this place Hopeland in Greece and started to work on themselves. And every chapter of this book contains a little assignment that you can do for yourself as a reader. Next book, it's called American Dream. It was written by me. I actually call it Personal Development Fable. It's a story of the young delinquent who gets his probation officer, who is also a coach. And due the course of this book, the boy is training himself in different topics. It is sharing with the reader a lot of different coaching techniques. And finally, there is the book Self-Compassion from Christina Neff. That's the person on whom this whole workshop is somehow based. So if you are busy with how to be kinder to yourself, I can only recommend to open this book. And that's almost everything. I would like to ask you if you could fill this feedback, because it's going to help me to do better work in the future. It is going to take you 2 minutes. And aside from this, we will be slowly closing. If you still have some questions, you can have an opportunity for questions, and otherwise we will be slowly saying goodbye. Hattie is still raising her hand, yes?
Yes. So my question is, sometimes the voice in our head sometimes it's our voice, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's father's voice or mother's voice or anyone else. So how to differentiate where the voice is coming from? Because if the voice belongs to someone else, maybe we shouldn't make peace with that. We should completely avoid it, right?
I wouldn't want to give general answer, because I believe that everything is very individual, very specific. What I would say is, why do we even have this voice that is talking from the position of someone else from our past? Well, most probably the experience was born because of some interaction we did have with this person. And that's why I hear it with the voice of my mother or father. By the way, I actually don't have this experience myself, but I keep meeting more people who are sharing that this is what they are experiencing. But I would,
sometimes it's not, I mean, voice is not in the head from mother's voice. Sometimes we are thinking it's me, I'm telling myself, it sounds like my voice, but actually the root is not me. I heard it from someone else in the beginning. And it sounds like me. So how to differentiate? How to recognize what is mine, what is not?
awareness. Like, first of all, almost everything which we hear is going from the past. Not almost everything. Everything we hear is going from the past. And most probably we heard it from our father, mother, sibling, teacher. Maybe we read it somewhere, but from somewhere this information had to come. And as I will go back to the summary, it is here. There is this step. Notice when the voice is speaking the most, and realize that it's not your voice. And basically, you can start to ask myself, where is this coming from? Why is this happening? To bring some sort of example. Yeah, okay. One of my biggest problem, and it's really a problem in my life, is my inner critic telling me you are not good enough. And it's sabotaging me. It's sabotaging me. It's sabotaging me in my professional life. It's sabotaging me in my romantic life. But it's a very omnipresent thing. But then I need to be asking myself, why do I keep telling this to me? Where does it originate? When was the first time I said to myself, I'm not good enough? And then I realized, yeah, okay, I was telling this to myself as long as I can remember. As a kid, I already was not good enough. How is that possible? I have two older sisters. Both of those sisters were always giving to me as the perfect example. You need to be as your sister. You need to behave as your sisters. Listen to your sisters. So from the very childhood, I was receiving this message. There is someone else who is better than you. But it's not like my mother or father or anyone else ever told to me, Vojta, you are not good enough. No, that's not what happened. But through the living experience, this sort of belief was created inside of me. This sort of things is repeated to me by my inner critic. And it is repeated to me because it cares for my protection. It cares for my survival. So what I needed to realize is that this is made up belief. This is something that was helpful to me when I was little. It is something what is holding me back at this very moment. And what I need to remind myself, well, it's very individual. I can rephrase this sentence in whatever way. So I could rephrase this simply as, Vojta, you are good enough. But what I'm actually working with is that there is nothing like good enough or bad enough. You just are. Vojta, you just are. This is what I'm telling to myself at the moment. Is this helpful somehow, or did I just confuse you?
Both. It
Oh.
was helpful, but at the same time, there are also other questions in my mind, which is good. And thank you for sharing.
Okay. Thanks for the question. The link to American Dream leads back to Welcome to Hopeland. Ella is solving it. Okay. Good. Any other question, or are we closing? Alexandra is raising her head.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I want to thank you first, and the second, maybe I could share my experience regarding the last question from Hatis. If we pay attention, we have actually that never stopping voice in our head. Sometimes it's critic, but sometimes it's not. And how to connect with our truly voice, our voice. I call this my heart voice. It's very difficult to connect with this our original authentic voice, because we have many voices. And according to my experience, it's very important to meditate. Maybe some of you have such experience, but during the last 5 years, I meditate and I improve my life, not just but by meditations. And I'm doing journaling of gratitude every day. And this changed my life completely. Just want to give some advice. Maybe you never do the meditations, but I recommend in the morning 10 minutes, 15, just to clear your mind and to start day with fresh I don't know, spirit, without any voice, with some clear intentions, without because just one advice, when we start our day, I believe everyone have a phone, and first thing that you do, you are grabbing your phone. It's very important to put this phone in other room and the first hour be with yourself. This change completely your day, and that is something that helping me to recognize the true voice of my heart. That's for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra. And yeah, I can relate. I am practicing meditation, but I also know that it's not bad for everybody. But basically what we are working with is the awareness of getting more and more conscious of our subconscious thing, either through mindfulness, through meditation, through journaling. What I recommend a lot is physical activity, because also what Inner-critic is connected to is overthinking process. And I usually say to everybody who gets into the overthinking, good, go to jump for 10 minutes or shake your body, go for a run, dance. I support a lot of contemporary dance, self-expression dance, anything that let people just to feel their physicality. Okay. So thank you for everything. This will be all, and you can expect the very last email from me tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Everything.
Thank you for all from Turkey.